The Commission has deliberated on the matter raised by the state and considers that that not being this a hearing about a case, there is no problem for the petitioners in describing the situation and analyzing it, because this is a general hearing on conditions of custody of children in Jamaica. So it's not a matter of having exhausted domestic remedies, for instance, or otherwise meeting other of the requests for the petitions at the Commission. The Commission, as a general matter for all countries in the Americas, usually hold hearings at which current cases are being discussed. But the Commission will not issue a statement about the specific case. So I give the floor again to the petitioners.
On the morning of May 23, 2009, Jamaicans woke to the news that the night before there had been a fire at the Armadale Juvenile Correctional Center, and that 5 teenage girls had been burnt to death in that fire, and a number of others had been hospitalized. In the days following the fire, 2 more girls died from the severe injuries they had received, 7 girls in all. The Prime Minister visited the facility on the day after the fire and ordered its immediate closure and recommended that a commission of inquiry be held into the circumstances surrounding the fire. Evidence elicited at the public inquiry gave a horrific account of the inhumane and deplorable living conditions at this state facility. The girls lived in overcrowded makeshift dorms. One dorm, called Bathroom Dorm, was just that, a bathroom into which beds had been placed and girls bathed and used the toilets without privacy. One girl gave the following account in her evidence. There were no cupboards in Bathroom Dorm. 2 toilets were there. Neither toilet worked. You had to use water to flush it. Sometimes it bung up. 2 showers in there. Nothing to block off the shower, nothing to hide, no curtain. If someone is lying on the bed, they can see the person in the shower, can stand up and look at them. Those who lived in Bathroom Dorm would be there when girls were using the shower and toilets. The water from the big shower wet up the floor and the place get easily dirty. The dorm in which the fire took place was a room in an office building. 23 girls lived in a room 12 feet by 20 feet. They shared 7 bunk beds. At nights they were locked in from 6 p.m. till 6 a.m. the following morning. They did not have access to the bathroom at night and were given 1 or 2 buckets in which to defecate and urinate. 23 teenage girls for 12 hours each night. One girl described it in this way. After dinner, the dorm door was locked. We were not able to use the bathroom. We had to use the bucket at night. We didn't have our own personal bucket. It was always at the side of the door, sometimes 2, sometimes 1. Some girls didn't use the bucket. They used other things, newspaper. The bucket never got full some nights. I used the bucket. I didn't feel comfortable using the bucket. I feel bad in myself. Sometimes I wish I had never been born. There was one teacher at Armadale, assigned to Armadale for the 61 girls, teaching 3 subjects on the primary syllabus. There was little or no consistent recreational activity. The medical care was deficient, and the doctor who visited the facility once a week spoke to a large percentage of girls exhibiting symptoms such as psychoses, sociopathic and antisocial disorders, and borderline personality disorders. There was only 1 psychologist employed to the entire Department of Corrections. She spoke also of 2 girls who were HIV positive, who were known to be engaging in sexual activity. 1 girl was not receiving treatment. The doctor tells that the authorities ignored her recommendation to relocate these girls for their protection and that of the other girls. The already inhumane conditions worsened when the girls were put on lockdown, a term usually used in adult prisons. Each new girl was placed on lockdown for her first 2 weeks at the facility. Lockdown was also used as a form of collective punishment. During lockdown, the girls were not allowed outdoors. They were not allowed to attend classes. They were all forced to eat their meals in the dorm using their hands, as no utensils were provided. The girls were reportedly on lockdown for 4 weeks prior to the night of the fire. The room in which the fire took place that night had bars on all the windows, had a solid door and a grille door with multiple locks and padlocks. There was no fire escape, no functioning fire extinguishers, no emergency protocol, and there had been no fire drills. All this despite the fact that there had been 3 fires in recent times at the facility. Girls who survived the fire and who gave testimony at the inquiry spoke of horrifying scenes, most girls having to be pulled out of the windows, of seeing severely injured friends, of receiving burns themselves. One girl described her experience in this way. I helped one of the girls and her skin started to come off. I helped with water and helped one take off her brassiere because she said she was swelling. I saw one of the police officers with a fire extinguisher, but it was actually empty. Some police were catching water. I didn't get burned or injured that night, just a little scrape. I didn't have to go to the hospital. I slept in the dining room that night. The vexed issue of children being housed in adult detention centers continues to be a serious problem. Some of the girls who survived the fire at Armadale were relocated to the Horizon Remand Center and the Fort Augusta Prison, both adult correctional facilities. Some of them remain there to this day. The conditions in the facility are overcrowded and unsanitary, and we are surprised that the government of Jamaica, in its response to the Commission, speaks only of the girls who were relocated to the Diamond Crest facility and makes no mention of the girls who were relocated to the adult facilities. This despite the vocal concern expressed by the public defender and the general public outcry. We view this as a serious omission on the part of the government of Jamaica and believes it calls into question other aspects of the report. We are also concerned that the Office of the Children's Advocate highlighted in the Government of Jamaica's response as important in the investigation of all complaints of abuse and the welfare of children in institutions and juvenile correctional centers failed miserably in regards to the conditions at Armadale, despite problems with that facility having been brought to its attention more than a year before the fire took place. We note that the Government of Jamaica and the CDA's response, and we stand by our contention that most of the problems highlighted in our 2006 report still remain. The overall response of the CDA is vague and non-specific. There is reference to many regulations, rules, recommendations, and committees which on paper present one picture of the situation. It has been our experience that the specific situation on the ground often does not support the paper picture. Reference to the care plans, for example, is made. However, we continue to have reports of children arriving at homes with no or inadequate information, such as a boy placed in the home with no accompanying case file, no birth certificate or form of ID, no information on his family. We are surprised at the statement by the Government of Jamaica that during the 2008 to 2009 period there were no signs of neglect or abuse reported by the monitoring officers on their visits to the children's homes, as we have copies in our possession of monitoring reports obtained in August 2009 under the Access to Information Act, where neglect and abuse is recorded. Physical abuse, SOS Children's Village, November 2008. Sexual abuse, Alpha Boys Home, January 2008. Shortage of food, Windsor Girls Home, April and September 2008. Babies and children without proper supervision at night, Maxfield Park Home, December 2008. And we have others. These are a sampling of cases, all taken from the CDA's own monitoring reports. The devil is in the detail. We cannot continue to rely on plans and promises made over many years while children are dying in state care. We are calling for accountability and responsibility.
Jamaicans for Justice